More than 33 million infections, more than 1 million deaths. The Wuhan virus pandemic is set to enter its 10th month. It's been a 10-month-long nightmare, and it shows no sign of ending. Quite the opposite, in fact. The world is bracing for a second wave and struggling with pandemic denial and pandemic fatigue. What does that even mean? Pandemic denial, as the term suggests, is people still insisting that this is just a flu, it's a hoax, it's an exaggeration. Yes, there are still some people who believe this. Pandemic fatigue is much more prevalent and dangerous. It means people being tired of a catastrophe, people lowering their defenses because they're tired of being careful. They say life must go on. How long can you halt everything? So lockdowns were lifted, people started stepping out, they returned to office, they went back to malls, gyms, temples, restaurants. We told ourselves that we've learned to live with the virus and that this is the new normal. But 2020 is not over yet, and I'm afraid there is more bad news. This virus is not slowing down. A second wave is coming and more restrictions are in the offing. Let's show you the numbers. The United States, still the most number of cases in this country the world over, more than 7 million cases now. Over 200,000 people have died, 2 lakh people dead in the US. The Wuhan virus continues to spread. According to a report, 4 states in the Midwest have reported a daily spike for the second week in a row. These are Minnesota, Montana, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. Then we come to Europe. It doesn't look good there. This is where the situation is the most worrisome. Earlier this year, Europe was among the worst hit. Now it is witnessing a second wave. For 10 days now, France has been reporting more than 10,000 cases daily. There has been a steep rise in the Netherlands too. Since last Monday, it has been setting a new record in infections every day. Spain, it's the worst hit Western European country with more than 7 lakh cases now, 700,000. The United Kingdom has imposed local lockdowns again. Restrictions there will last probably another 6 months. India does not have a second wave yet because India is still struggling to contain the first one. There is no doubt that India is the new global epicenter of this pandemic. Today, India's case tally passed 6 million. 6 million cases. The death toll is inching closer to 1,100,000. More than 5 million people have recovered in India, but there are concerns about a possible gap in testing, so the actual figures could be much higher with more asymptomatic cases. The bottom line is this: the pandemic is not ending anytime soon. 3 reasons why. Number 1, opening up. It is exposing more people to the Wuhan virus. Look at Europe, the US, India. The moment the restrictions were lifted, the number of cases spiked. Take the case of India. It took 7 months for India to reach the 2 million mark, 2 million cases, 7 months. But India went from 5 to 6 million in just 12 days. Part of it is because of increased testing, but most of it is because of the lifting of lockdown. Reason number 2, no herd immunity. When a large part of a population catches a disease and develops a natural immunity to the disease, we call it herd immunity. This is when enough people catch the disease or when they have received vaccines for it. For the Wuhan virus, herd immunity could possibly be achieved when 50% of the population is immune. Some say the immunity levels must be around 70%, but the world is nowhere close to this. Even America, with the highest number of cases, does not have herd immunity. According to a study, fewer than 10% of Americans show signs of past infection. What about India? The Indian health minister today said that we are far from having achieved any kind of herd immunity. And now the third and the final reason why we are nowhere close to the end of this pandemic. Even after 10 months, we do not have a vaccine or a viable treatment. More than 170 teams of researchers the world over are working on a vaccine, but they need more time. Going by even the most optimistic predictions, widespread vaccination will only be possible by mid-2021. Months away. That is, if we get a vaccine that works. America's top disease expert Anthony Fauci wants the world to have realistic expectations. He says we still don't know what the efficacy of the vaccine might be. Efficacy is the ability of a vaccine to produce a desired or intended result. Now, Indian drug regulators want a vaccine with an efficacy of at least 50%. Only then will it be given regulatory approval, and no one is offering such a vaccine yet. So at the risk of sounding pessimistic, I must repeat, this virus is not going away in a hurry, so keep your masks on, maintain social distancing, you know the rules, don't let your guard down. Pandemic fatigue and pandemic denial can be fatal.